Good morning, everyone, and thank you for being here today. I'm Dr. S.K. Singh, and I'm excited to welcome you to this presentation on biosimilars and biologics. Today, we'll explore the fascinating world of these innovative medicines, their development, and their impact on healthcare. Over the next few minutes, I'll guide you through the key concepts, challenges, and future prospects in this rapidly evolving field. Let's get started. Let's start by understanding what biologics are. Biologics are medicinal products that come from living organisms. These can include bacteria, yeast, mammalian cells, or even human and animal tissues. Unlike traditional small-molecule drugs, biologics are large and complex molecules, and they're made using advanced biotechnology techniques. Now, moving on to their key characteristics. One of the most important things to remember is their high molecular complexity. This complexity makes them quite different from conventional medicines. They're also very sensitive to manufacturing changes, meaning even small differences in how they're produced can affect their quality. Because of this, biologics are typically produced using recombinant DNA technology, which allows for precise control over the process. Another critical point is that biologics require strict storage and handling conditions to maintain their stability and effectiveness. If not stored properly, their structure can be compromised, which could impact their safety and efficacy. Finally, let's look at some common examples of biologics. These include insulin for diabetes, vaccines to prevent diseases, monoclonal antibodies used in cancer treatment, growth hormones for growth disorders, and various blood products. Each of these plays a vital role in modern medicine, demonstrating the incredible potential of biologics to treat a wide range of conditions. Throughout this presentation, we'll explore how these characteristics influence the development, manufacturing, and regulation of biologics, emphasizing their importance in advancing healthcare. Let's take a look at some of the major therapeutic areas where biologics are making a significant impact. First, oncology, which involves treatments for various types of cancers. Then, autoimmune diseases, where biologics help regulate the immune system to reduce inflammation and tissue damage. Diabetes is another key area, especially with therapies like insulin that have transformed patient care. Hematology covers blood disorders, with biologics used to treat conditions like anemia or clotting deficiencies. Infectious diseases also benefit from biologics, such as vaccines that stimulate the immune response against pathogens. Now, to better understand the types of biologics, let's look at some categories. Monoclonal antibodies are designed to target specific immune proteins, making treatments highly precise. Examples include trastuzumab and rituximab, which are used in cancer and autoimmune conditions. Vaccines, on the other hand, stimulate the immune system to recognize and fight diseases, like the hepatitis B vaccine. Recombinant proteins are engineered versions of natural proteins, such as insulin for diabetes and erythropoietin for anemia. We also have cell and gene therapies, which represent some of the most advanced regenerative treatments available today. CAR-T therapies are a prime example, harnessing the power of a patient's own immune cells to fight cancer. Lastly, blood products are derived directly from plasma or blood, including important substances like albumin and clotting factors used in bleeding disorders. Understanding these classifications helps us see the diversity and complexity of biologics, and how they're tailored to address specific medical needs across different therapeutic areas. Let's take a closer look at the manufacturing process of biologics. First, we start with cell line development, which involves selecting and optimizing the cells that will produce the therapeutic protein. Next, genetic engineering is used to modify these cells to enhance productivity and stability. Once the cell line is established, we move into cell culture and fermentation, where the cells are grown under controlled conditions to produce the desired protein. The protein expression step is where the cells actually produce the biologic, and then we need to purify the product to remove any impurities. After purification, formulation and filling prepare the biologic for delivery, ensuring stability and proper dosage. Finally, quality testing is essential to confirm that the product meets safety, purity, and potency standards. Now, it's important to understand the challenges involved. Variability in the manufacturing process can impact the final product, as small changes may lead to differences in biological activity. Product instability can also be an issue, potentially affecting efficacy over time. Contamination risks are always present, and rigorous controls are necessary to prevent contamination. Additionally, the entire process is costly, which impacts the overall economics of biologic production. Ultimately, the manufacturing process defines the product itself, because even minor changes can alter the biological activity. This underscores how precise and carefully controlled these processes must be to ensure that patients receive safe and effective biologics. So, what exactly are biosimilars? Well, a biosimilar is a type of biological product that's very similar to an already approved reference biologic. The key point here is that it has no clinically meaningful differences in safety, purity, or potency compared to the original. Now, it's important to understand that biosimilars are not identical to their reference products like generic drugs are. Instead, they are developed after the patent on the original biologic expires, allowing other companies to create these similar versions. Developing biosimilars requires extensive analytical comparison to ensure they match the reference product closely. They also need to demonstrate that they perform just as well clinically, meaning they work equally effectively in patients. From a regulatory standpoint, agencies like the FDA in the US, EMA in Europe, and CDSCO in India all require biosimilars to demonstrate their similarity through a comprehensive, totality of evidence approach. This means they look at all the available data, from analytical studies to clinical trials, to make sure the biosimilar is as safe and effective as the original biologic. Overall, biosimilars are an important part of expanding access to biological therapies, and understanding these key points helps us appreciate their role in modern medicine. Let's take a closer look at the key differences between biosimilars and biologics. First, it's important to understand that biosimilars are similar to, but not exact copies of, the original biologic medicines. Due to the inherent biological variability, they can't be identical in every way. Now, regarding their origin, biologics are developed from the original innovator product, whereas biosimilars are essentially similar versions of that innovator. When it comes to development costs, biologics require a very high investment, often in the hundreds of millions, because of the complexity involved. Biosimilars, on the other hand, tend to have lower development costs, which can make them more accessible. In terms of development time, biologics typically take about 10 to 15 years to bring to market, reflecting the extensive research and testing needed. Biosimilars usually take less time, around 7 to 10 years, since they build upon the existing knowledge of the original product. Molecular structure is another key point. Biologics are complex molecules, which makes them challenging to replicate exactly. Biosimilars are designed to be highly similar, but minor differences can still exist due to the biological nature of these drugs. Clinical trials also differ. Biologics require extensive, large-scale trials to establish safety and efficacy. Biosimilars need comparative studies to demonstrate similarity to the original, rather than starting from scratch. Pricing is a significant advantage of biosimilars. They tend to be less expensive, which can improve access for many patients. Biologics are typically more costly, reflecting their development expenses. Finally, interchangeability depends on regulations. Biologics serve as the original reference products, while whether biosimilars can be substituted depends on regulatory approval and local policies. Overall, understanding these differences helps us see how biosimilars can provide more cost-effective options, while still maintaining high standards of safety and efficacy. Now, let's take a closer look at the biosimilar development process. It involves several key stages that ensure the biosimilar is comparable to the reference product. First, we have analytical characterization, where we thoroughly analyze the molecule's structure and properties. Next are functional studies, which test how the biosimilar behaves biologically. Then come the non-clinical studies, including in vitro and in vivo tests to assess safety and activity. After that, pharmacokinetic and pharmacodynamic studies help us understand how the drug moves through and affects the body. Clinical efficacy studies are essential to demonstrate that the biosimilar's effectiveness matches that of the original. Finally, immunogenicity assessment evaluates the potential for the biosimilar to provoke immune responses. Moving on to the critical evaluation parameters, these are the pillars that guide us in confirming biosimilarity. Structural similarity is fundamental, making sure the biosimilar's molecular makeup aligns closely with the reference. Biological activity confirms that it performs as expected in biological systems. Stability profile is also crucial, ensuring the product remains consistent over time. Safety and efficacy are always top priorities, and immunogenicity assessment helps us gauge the likelihood of immune reactions. The ultimate goal of this process is to demonstrate similarity, not to re-establish benefit from scratch. We aim to show that the biosimilar is highly comparable to the original, which allows for a more efficient development pathway. This approach helps provide patients with more options while maintaining high standards of safety and effectiveness. Let's take a look at the global regulatory framework for biosimilars. Starting with the United States, the FDA plays a key role here. Their main legislation is the Biologics Price Competition and Innovation Act, or BPCIA. This act introduced the 351(k) approval pathway, which is specifically designed for biosimilars, allowing for a more streamlined approval process compared to traditional biologics. Moving over to the European Union, the EMA established its first biosimilar guidelines back in 2005. Since then, they've emphasized the importance of extensive comparability exercises. This means that biosimilars must undergo rigorous analytical and functional comparisons to the reference product to ensure they are highly similar. In India, the regulatory landscape is guided by the CDSCO and DBT. Their guidelines on similar biologics, published in 2016, focus heavily on making biosimilars more affordable and accessible. This reflects a broader goal of increasing patient access to these important therapies. When it comes to regulatory requirements across these regions, there are some common elements. Manufacturers must provide quality studies to demonstrate consistent manufacturing processes. Comparative analytics are essential to show similarity at a molecular level. Clinical similarity data is needed to confirm comparable safety and efficacy. And of course, pharmacovigilance plans are crucial for ongoing safety monitoring once the biosimilar is in use. All of these aspects highlight how regulatory frameworks are designed to ensure biosimilars are safe, effective, and accessible, aligning with the overall goal of expanding treatment options worldwide. Now, let's take a closer look at the therapeutic applications of biosimilars and biologics across various medical fields. In oncology, for example, drugs like trastuzumab are used to treat HER2-positive breast cancer, and bevacizumab is used for colorectal cancer. These therapies have significantly improved outcomes for many patients. Moving on to autoimmune diseases, we see medications like adalimumab, which is used in rheumatoid arthritis, and infliximab for Crohn's disease. These biologics help modulate the immune response and manage chronic inflammatory conditions effectively. In endocrinology, insulin biosimilars are playing a crucial role in diabetes management, offering more options for patients needing insulin therapy. In hematology, erythropoietin is used to treat anemia, and filgrastim helps combat neutropenia, especially during chemotherapy. What's really important to highlight here is the benefit these biosimilars and biologics bring to patients. They increase accessibility to essential treatments, often at a lower cost, which can help reduce the financial burden. Additionally, they expand healthcare coverage, making advanced therapies available to more people. All of these points tie back to the overall theme of how biosimilars are transforming healthcare by providing effective, affordable options across a wide range of medical conditions. Let's take a look at some of the key advantages of biosimilars across different areas. First, on the economic side, biosimilars help lower healthcare expenditure overall. They reduce treatment costs, making therapies more affordable for both healthcare systems and patients. Plus, their introduction increases competition in pharmaceutical markets, which can drive prices down further and encourage innovation. Moving on to clinical advantages, biosimilars offer greater access for patients who might not have been able to afford or access original biologics before. They provide comparable efficacy and safety profiles, so patients can trust that they're receiving a treatment that's just as effective. Additionally, they support long-term treatment sustainability, helping manage chronic conditions over time without excessive costs. In terms of industry benefits, biosimilars encourage ongoing innovation within the biotech sector. As more biosimilars enter the market, it expands the biologics landscape and fosters new development. Importantly, they also improve healthcare affordability, making advanced therapies more accessible to a broader population. Finally, considering the global impact, biosimilars play a crucial role in improving access to cutting-edge treatments, especially in developing countries. They help bridge the gap in healthcare disparities by providing more affordable options for life-saving and life-changing therapies worldwide. Let's take a closer look at some of the market challenges that biosimilars face today. First, physician acceptance remains a critical hurdle. Many doctors are cautious about prescribing biosimilars, often due to concerns about efficacy and safety. Patient awareness is another key factor. If patients aren't well informed, they may be hesitant to switch from original biologics. Then we have patent litigations, which can delay or complicate the entry of biosimilars into the market. Pricing competition is fierce as well, with companies striving to offer attractive prices while maintaining quality. Moving on to the scientific challenges, biosimilars are inherently complex. They involve intricate molecular structures, which makes manufacturing a delicate process. Variability in manufacturing can lead to differences in the final product, raising concerns about consistency and immunogenicity. That is, the potential for immune reactions. Regulatory challenges are equally significant. Standards for interchangeability are evolving, and clear naming conventions are essential to avoid confusion. Additionally, pharmacovigilance, monitoring the safety of these products post-market, is vital to ensure ongoing patient safety. Finally, supply chain challenges cannot be overlooked. Biosimilars often require cold chain storage, which demands strict temperature controls. Distribution can be complex, especially across different regions, and maintaining batch-to-batch consistency is critical to ensure quality and efficacy. All these challenges highlight why bringing biosimilars successfully to market requires careful navigation across multiple fronts. As we look to the future of biologics and biosimilars, there are several exciting emerging trends to keep in mind. Personalizing biologics is becoming more prominent, allowing therapies to be tailored specifically to individual patient needs, which could significantly improve outcomes. We're also seeing AI-driven bioprocess optimization, where artificial intelligence helps streamline and enhance manufacturing processes, making them more efficient and cost-effective. Next-generation monoclonal antibodies are evolving, offering greater specificity and potency in treatments. Additionally, cell and gene therapies are gaining momentum, opening new avenues for treating previously incurable conditions. Continuous biomanufacturing is another key trend, enabling more consistent and scalable production, which is crucial for meeting global demand. Turning to the market growth, we're witnessing rapid expansion, especially in Asia-Pacific regions, driven by increasing healthcare investments and expanding infrastructure. Adoption of biosimilars is also accelerating in areas like oncology and autoimmune diseases, making advanced therapies more accessible and affordable. There's also a notable rise in investments dedicated to biosimilar research and development, which signals strong confidence in this sector's future. Looking ahead, the overall outlook is quite optimistic. Biosimilars are poised to transform healthcare globally by making advanced therapeutics more affordable and accessible. This shift not only promises to improve patient outcomes, but also to foster a more sustainable and equitable healthcare system worldwide. So, as these trends and market dynamics unfold, they will undoubtedly reshape how we approach treatment and innovation in biopharmaceuticals. Let's look at a real-world example with the trastuzumab biosimilar. The reference product here is Herceptin registered, which has been a standard treatment for HER2-positive breast cancer. Now, biosimilars like Ogivri registered or Herzumer registered are developed to be highly similar to this original product. They target the same therapeutic indication, which is HER2-positive breast cancer, a condition where overexpression of the HER2 protein drives tumor growth. When we examine the clinical outcomes, these biosimilars have shown comparable efficacy, meaning they work just as well as the original Herceptin registered. They also have a similar safety profile, so patients are not exposed to additional risks. An important benefit is the reduced treatment costs, which can make a big difference in healthcare budgets and patient affordability. The overall impact of introducing biosimilars like these is quite significant. We see improved patient access to effective therapies, especially in regions where cost was previously a barrier. Plus, the reduction in oncology treatment expenses can lead to more sustainable healthcare systems. This case study underscores how biosimilars are transforming cancer care by maintaining quality while enhancing accessibility and affordability. So, to wrap things up, let's look at the key takeaways from this presentation. Biologics are truly advanced therapeutics that come from living systems, making them quite complex but incredibly effective. Biosimilars, on the other hand, offer a more cost-effective alternative to the original biologic products, which can really help improve access to these vital therapies around the world. Of course, gaining regulatory approval for biosimilars isn't simple. It's a rigorous process that requires extensive comparability studies to demonstrate they are as safe and effective as the reference products. When these hurdles are met, biosimilars can significantly expand healthcare options and affordability globally. Looking ahead, future advancements in biologic therapies are poised to further expand what we can achieve in medicine, making treatments more personalized and accessible. This ongoing progress underscores the importance of continued research and regulation to ensure safety and effectiveness. And for those interested in the details and guidelines behind these developments, references from the FDA, EMA, WHO, CDSCO, and leading research articles provide a solid foundation of knowledge. Thank you. For further support, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. We're here to help and provide any additional assistance you might need. Thank you very much for your time and attention today. If you have any questions or need clarification, feel free to contact us anytime. We appreciate your engagement and look forward to supporting you moving forward. Once again, thank you.